Happiness is a universal pursuit, yet it often seems elusive. People chase money, status, relationships, or possessions, hoping they will fill an invisible void. Ancient wisdom, however, reveals that happiness is not a prize to earn, but a skill to cultivate. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, provides one of the clearest paths toward lasting happiness. His teachings, though centuries old, are strikingly relevant today. By understanding and applying Seneca's insights, we can transform the way we live, think, and experience joy. Happiness is found in virtue, not wealth. Seneca emphasized that external circumstances cannot guarantee happiness. Wealth, fame, and possessions are fleeting, fragile, and unreliable sources of contentment. True happiness is rooted in virtue, the alignment of our actions with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When we focus on cultivating our character, rather than accumulating external markers of success, we gain an inner freedom that no circumstance can take away. A wealthy person may suffer from fear, anxiety, or dissatisfaction, while a humble individual with virtue can experience peace. Seneca teaches that happiness is internal, not external. The quality of your character, your moral integrity, and your adherence to reason determine the depth of your joy. Control your desires, when left unchecked, are the chains that enslave the mind. Seneca warned that people often suffer not because of what they lack, but because of the endless cravings they pursue. Happiness comes from mastering desire, appreciating what you already have, and avoiding the constant need for more. This is not about asceticism or deprivation, but about conscious moderation. When the mind is free from unnecessary cravings, it experiences serenity. The ability to desire less, to value simplicity, and to embrace sufficiency is a powerful source of contentment. Millions of people chase material abundance and still feel empty. Seneca reminds us that happiness is where restraint meets appreciation. Live in accordance with nature, Seneca frequently emphasized that humans must live in harmony with nature, not against it. This means accepting the natural flow of life, understanding that change and loss are inevitable, and recognizing that suffering is part of existence. Resisting reality leads to frustration and distress. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means acknowledging what is within your control and releasing attachment to what is not. Happiness is found in aligning desires with reality, not forcing reality to match desire. The storms of life may be unavoidable, but the mind trained in acceptance remains calm. Seneca's wisdom is timeless. Resistance leads to suffering. Alignment leads to peace. The present moment is your only possession. Seneca reminds us that life is not an endless stretch of time, but a series of present moments. Worrying about the future or lamenting the past steals the only time we truly own. Happiness emerges when we focus on the present, invest energy in meaningful actions now, and embrace the fleeting nature of existence. Life is short, and wasting it on trivial concerns guarantees dissatisfaction. By living fully in the moment, we cultivate awareness, gratitude, and joy. Seneca's guidance is clear. Time is the most precious resource. How you use each day determines whether your life is rich in happiness or full of regret. Wealth and comfort do not equal freedom. Seneca often pointed out that people confuse wealth with freedom. A man may have vast riches, but remain enslaved to his desires, fears, and anxieties. True freedom comes from self-mastery, not possessions. When the mind is disciplined and desires are under control, a person is free regardless of external circumstances. This is where happiness resides, in autonomy over the mind, not the bank account. Millionaires in modern times still experience anxiety and dissatisfaction because they forget this principle. Seneca teaches that inner freedom is the ultimate source of contentment. Prepare for adversity. Seneca believed that anticipating challenges and reflecting on the impermanence of life strengthens resilience and increases happiness. Instead of avoiding thoughts of hardship, we should embrace them as part of reality. Mental rehearsal for adversity allows us to face difficulties with composure and courage. By acknowledging that loss, pain, and failure are inevitable, we reduce fear and anxiety. Happiness is not about avoiding pain, but about developing a mind that is unshaken by it. Seneca's approach trains us to find serenity even in chaos. Anticipation, preparation, and rational acceptance are the foundation of a content life. Detach from opinion and approval. Much of human suffering comes from the desire for recognition, praise, or validation from others. Seneca advised cultivating independence from external opinion. When happiness relies on the judgment of others, it becomes unstable and fleeting. Freedom and contentment arise when the mind is self-reliant, valuing virtue and reason over popularity. This detachment does not imply isolation or arrogance. It is about prioritizing inner principles over external validation. By focusing on what truly matters, the mind remains steady, confident, and joyful. Happiness is where self-respect replaces dependence on approval. Practice gratitude. Daily gratitude is a recurring theme in Seneca's philosophy. He encouraged reflection on the blessings we already possess, rather than obsessing over what we lack. Daily acknowledgement of life's gifts, health, relationships, and opportunities cultivates satisfaction and joy. Gratitude trains the mind to notice abundance instead of scarcity. Modern psychology confirms this ancient wisdom. Grateful people experience higher levels of happiness, reduced stress, and stronger relationships. Seneca's practice of gratitude is simple yet profound. Happiness is the result of appreciation, not accumulation. Simplify life and focus on essentials. Seneca believed that simplicity is key to contentment. Excessive attachment to possessions, obligations, or complex desires creates stress, distraction, and unhappiness. By identifying what is essential and eliminating what is superfluous, the mind gains clarity and peace. Minimalism is not just physical but mental. Focus on values, relationships, and actions that align with your purpose. Discard unnecessary concerns, comparisons, and ambitions that do not serve your well-being. Happiness grows in simplicity. The mind unburdened by clutter is free to experience life fully and deeply. Philosophy as a guide to daily life. Finally, Seneca emphasized that philosophy is not abstract thought, but a practical guide to living well. Studying wisdom, reflecting on life, and applying Stoic principles daily transforms perspective and behavior. Philosophy trains the mind to face adversity, embrace virtue, and cultivate happiness. It is where theory meets practice. Happiness is not a random emotion, but a cultivated skill. By integrating these principles into daily routines, through reflection, journaling, and conscious action, we build a resilient, content, and meaningful life. Seneca's secret is simple wisdom applied equals happiness realized. Here is an insight to reflect on. Many people search for happiness in external achievements, forgetting that the mind is where joy is created. Seneca's philosophy reminds us that happiness is cultivated, maintained, and protected by conscious effort. It is not fleeting or dependent on circumstances. Wealth may come and go, health may fluctuate, and relationships may change. Happiness, however, is a constant when rooted in virtue, reason, and self-mastery. Imagine applying Seneca's principles in modern life. Start each morning with reflection, gratitude, and visualization of virtue. Moderate desires, detach from opinion, and embrace the present moment. Accept adversity, focus on essentials, and live in accordance with reason. These are not theoretical exercises, but actionable habits that, when practiced consistently, reshape your mind and elevate your life. The wisdom of a Roman philosopher becomes a modern productivity and happiness blueprint. Consider this challenge. Today, identify one desire you can moderate, one distraction you can release, or one habit you can practice consciously. Notice the effect on your mind, mood, and energy. Seneca teaches that even small, deliberate changes in perspective create enormous shifts in happiness. The compounding effect of daily reflection, gratitude, and virtue builds a life that is rich, fulfilled, and resilient. Before concluding, remember this: happiness is not found in fortune, fame, or fleeting pleasure. It is cultivated in the mind, protected by wisdom, and strengthened by practice. Seneca's secret is timeless because it aligns with human nature. By mastering desire, embracing virtue, and living intentionally, happiness becomes inevitable. Life is short, time is precious, and joy is created by conscious effort, not chance. If you truly want to experience lasting happiness, begin by studying your mind, examining your desires, and living intentionally each day. Seneca's guidance is clear: happiness is not a pursuit, it is a practice. Apply these principles, reflect daily, and watch how your perspective transforms, how your worries diminish, and how life itself becomes a source of fulfillment. For more timeless wisdom, productivity hacks, and mindset transformations, subscribe to Mindset Power Code. Every insight shared is designed to shift perspective, strengthen the mind, and elevate your life. Your happiness is waiting. Start today.